Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com, where music comes to life. My guest today is probably best known for his time alongside Elijah Blue Allman in the band Dead Sea, but he's back now alongside his wife, celebrated actress Vera Farmiga, in the band The Yagas. Their explosive debut, Midnight Minuet, is out now, and here to talk about it is Renn Hawkey. Welcome, Renn.
How are you? Nice, nice,
Great.
nice. That's a nice introduction. Thank you.
So, let's start with the band. I mentioned yourself and Vera, but who else joined you guys, and how'd you get your start?
Okay, so I was in a kind of transition mode at the time of like I wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna go start a new band. It started in the parking lot of a kids' music school, to be honest with you, called the Woodstock Rock Academy, which is owned by Jason Bowman, our drummer, and his wife, Acacia Ludwig. And you spend enough time in the like parking lot and like your kids are inside for 3 hours having a time of their lives, chasing each other around with dull and sometimes sharp objects and writing on the walls and like just having the time of their lives. And you're thinking to yourself, like, why didn't I have this as a kid? Then you start to meet some of the other parents in the parking lot. And then you realize they have an adult program, and then someone as a spoof signs you up for it, and you take the challenge and you sign up, and your wife says, I'll do it too. And I look, Vera and I have been together 21 years. I kind of kept the Deadsy thing away from her
Yeah.
a little bit, because we were transitioning into a different part of our lives, right? I was, getting into real estate stuff and trying to start a family,
Yeah.
right? And I don't think that it was until she was assigned Duality by Slipknot
Mhm.
in adult rock academy program where she really discovered her love of live music.
Yeah.
Yeah. And although she had been on tour a couple times with me,
Mhm.
on-offs, and she'd seen obviously a ton of Deftones shows and Korn shows
Yeah.
just from those tours. But I think it was her, I think, experiencing what it's like to just open your mouth and let it out. I think just woke up something in her. And then I was, it got to be too difficult making the last record with Dead Z. I'm in New York. There, all those guys are in
Yeah.
California, and just COVID, and it just couldn't. It wasn't going in the fashion and the timeline that I would have preferred. So Jason, who's the drummer and owner of Rock Academy, said, "Hey, you want to write a song?" I said, "Sure." And I think through natural selection, water finds the lowest point. We all kind of found each other. Mike Davis, our bass player, and Mark Visconti, our guitar player. And the first song we wrote was, I don't know if you've had a chance to hear the
Yes.
entire album.
I love the
Yes,
record. Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
The first song was called I Am.
Mhm.
And look, I've played with a lot of people over the years, and like it doesn't always work. Actually, most of the time it doesn't.
Right.
You end up with a lot of. I can see you're a musician. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope you
Yeah.
do those
Yeah.
things. I don't
The
see desktop,
cardboard. Yeah.
right? So sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't click. Most of the times it hasn't clicked for me. I'm not like a jam guy, right? I don't do well playing other people's music. I uh that's just the kind of musician that I
Yeah.
am. And this time it just worked. And that was the first song that we wrote, and it happened very quickly. It happened in our living room. I was on piano, Mark was on the guitar. Vera was like shy, like kind of hiding in the hallway, like, what's going on in there? And I just grabbed a mic
Yeah.
and I said, get in here. Let's see what you got. Let's just see what you're thinking. I think it was terrifying for her.
Yeah.
She'd never done this before,
Mhm.
not like this. And I don't know. I just thought that the song structure was unique. I thought it was dynamic. Thought there was some good tones coming out of it, and I thought this is worth nurturing.
Yeah.
And because there was no intention other than to just like get together and just
Right.
play, right? It wasn't like we're gonna go make a
Mhm.
concept record
Mhm.
or you know try to come up with a new genre of music.
Mhm.
It was like weekend warrior stuff.
Yeah.
But then the songs just started to fall out of us
Mhm.
pretty quickly. In fact, there's a catalog now of like 25 more songs that we want to go and
Nice.
record.
Yeah.
And we work quickly, and we work well together.
Mhm.
So I don't even remember what the question was, but like, oh, the
Well,
origin
that's
story.
yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
it. Like, look, it really became like we would seize 3 hours a
Mhm.
weekend to just get
Mhm.
together, write. I would travel with my laptop and like, my mics, and we started demoing songs. We went into the studio and with the intention of recording 6 songs. We booked
Mhm.
2 days, and by the end of the 2 days, we had done 13.
Nice.
And it was just we just banged them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now tell the story of where the name of the band comes from, because I think that background really sets up the atmosphere and feel of the record and the
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah, it's funny because it took us a long time to find a name.
Mhm.
We had great ideas for names, but they're all taken. Like 10 times over.
Yeah.
If not. And we had some cool names. I don't
Yeah.
remember all of them, but
Mhm.
like, um, and then, Vera being of Ukrainian heritage, there's the Slavic folkloric story of Baba Yaga, who is this shape-shifting old lady. I guess
Mhm.
one could refer to her as a witch. Sometimes I think she appears as like a helper. Sometimes she's a seductress. Sometimes she fries and eats children. Um, and I think that look, this is all kind of looking back on it, like
Yeah.
the collection of songs is like this 10-headed baby, each having a different personality, but I think that it all kind of belongs to the same body and it makes sense.
Mhm.
And for me, what the name gives permission to explore different aspects, and to really kind of genre blend and bend at
Mhm.
will. Um, yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, but the origin is Vera. She came up with the name.
Mhm. Like I said, I've gotten a chance to really listen to the record. I love it. I grew up as an 80s metal kid, but I
Yeah.
also loved Bauhaus. I love the darker edge of The Cure. A huge Typo Negative fan. I got to see them a million
Oh,
times
nice.
over the years.
Oh, that's great.
And this record takes me back to that feel, but with a really modern spin on it. When you guys started just that getting together to write a song, did you have kind of a vision in mind of these are the bands we really like, or was it just a natural, this is what we play?
Everybody has their own background and
Mhm.
influence of uh, inspiration, and geographically as well. Everyone was kind of scattered where they came from. How we all ended up at Woodstock
Mhm.
um, largely had to do with COVID for some of us.
Mhm.
Some of us have been in the area for a while, but
Mhm.
trying to find respite outside of New
Mhm.
York City. And so like Mike is from Texas, but like he's like an insane jazz musician. He did 20 years doing jazz gigs and
Yeah.
producing in the city. He also has his masters in the tabla. He plays the accordion, of
Mhm.
course,
Yeah.
you know, and his bass, he plays a six-string
Mhm.
bass. It's just he's a monster.
Mhm.
Um, but he loves Bauhaus, right?
Yeah.
He loves
Mhm.
The Cure. He comes from that, Joy Division stuff as well, even though he can, you know, play like a
Yeah.
motherfucker. I mean, he knows when to hold back,
Mhm.
Anyway, so I come from more of like a new wave background,
Mhm.
but I've always loved that marriage of the heaviness of like a typo negative
Yeah.
with melody. You can hear a lot of that in Dead Z as well.
Yeah.
To me, that just made a lot of sense.
Mhm.
It seemed to be surprisingly absent in a lot of music,
Mhm.
still to this day, like
Yeah.
the application of keyboards in music is
Mhm.
um, it's a delicate one, you know. I don't know. I don't hear a lot of like overwrought big analog,
Yeah. Not
warm
anymore. Yeah.
string.
Mhm.
Right. Um, and I'm a huge Cure fan. I
Yeah.
mean, I have to, as much as like I love the Beatles or Black
Yeah.
Sabbath, I got to say The Cure was number one for
Mhm.
me growing up. Um, and Mark and Jason, they come from a different headspace. Like Jason, I think is a huge Judas Priest
Yeah.
fan, as is Mark. But I think Mark's favorite band is probably Tool,
Mhm.
Perfect Circle.
Yeah.
So how that all mixes together in this cauldron to like
Mhm.
make these songs, I don't, there was never an intention of like, we're going to make a song that sounds like this.
Right.
It was just,
Mhm.
it always, every song started with someone having an idea, and then everyone would just kind of file in and add to it and pepper it and throw their salt in, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, and it's easy to use the term cinematic to describe music when you have an actor involved. But
Yeah.
what really grabbed me about this record are the lyrics. I mean, the stories in these songs, they're so deep, they're so descriptive, that without even seeing the videos, you have one in your mind while you're listening to it. And
Yeah.
I just think as much as the music is really unique from other bands, I think the lyrics really set you guys apart as well.
Yeah, I would first, I think Vera would not refer to herself as a singer. I think
Mhm.
she would say that she was a storyteller.
Yeah.
And that's what she brings to this. She's also just like, I don't know, it's everything she touches, she just does to the best of her
Mhm.
ability, and it's a remarkable thing. It's inspiring to be married to somebody like that and
Mhm.
have a partner. We've produced film together. We have rebuilt and built new houses
Mhm.
together. We've and now this, and of course raising children,
Yeah.
the most complicated of all,
Mhm.
right? And we do all these things really well together. But Vera had never done this before, like I said, and um, she also has a good writing partner in Jason's wife, Acacia.
Mhm.
They have a great partnership, a great friendship, and a lot of it, again, like the song "The Crying Room."
Yeah.
That's a song that was like Mark and I had been working on. You would never hear it, but the inspiration instrumentally for that song started with a Ozzy Osbourne song.
Mhm.
Like Mark was in the car and one of his long drives, and he heard a
Yeah.
song and showed up. And obviously, these things always morph. I'm sure you
Right.
write music, you know
Mhm.
how like a start off point like it becomes
Yeah. Just keeps
unrecognizable.
going. Yeah.
Yeah, and we had just been working on this instrumental track where there was no repeat parts. It just
Mhm.
kept going and going and going. And Vera had gotten a text from Acacia. She's like, she was on tour with the Rock Academy. They go on
Mhm.
tour uh, the higher level of like in the school is called show band, and they go on tour in the
Yeah.
summers with the kids. And they were in Massachusetts, I think. And Acacia went into a church and she texted Vera and she said, I can believe where I am. I'm in some church and there's a room here. It's called the Crying Room.
Mhm.
And I don't really know how it just kind of unfolded,
Yeah.
but immediately Vera was like, oh, that song they're playing in the other room. This is the perfect,
Mhm.
this is it. And yeah, I wish Vera was here to speak to that. She's in Hungary right now making a movie. So yeah. Yeah, but she's never done this before. She's
Yeah.
never put pen to paper
Mhm.
and done. I'm sure she's done creative writing in the past,
Mhm.
but um, yeah, this was a new thing for her.
Yeah, and her performance on the record just blew me away.
Yeah,
You would think it was somebody who spent a career doing this because it fits that well with everything. And I
yeah,
think it's always hard, when you have an actor that becomes a musician or a musician that goes into acting, it's almost like you have to work twice as hard to get the respect on it. Have you guys kind of found that at all? Or people write it off, oh, this is just a vanity project, when in reality, there's some major talent going on here.
well, I'm still kind of processing it, to
Mhm.
be honest with you, because like we pressed record a year ago,
Yeah.
right? We only had been a band for like 6 months, and we wrote a record,
Yeah.
and so I wouldn't expect people to just give us a pass and be like, expect that it should
Yeah.
be, considered amongst all these other great bands and songs that have been
Mhm.
around and doing their thing. We've had to work for it. We've had to earn it. I don't think that it's necessarily because she's an actor. I think it's just because it's so new and it's very different sounding. We have no record label. We have no infrastructure. Everything's out of pocket.
Mhm.
These videos that we make, I produced it, we
Mhm.
because we don't have the resources, right? We really don't have any sort of a machine. Um, so I don't. I think that people wanted to make sure that this was a real thing at
Mm.
first before automatically just like let me review this like one song that
Yeah.
this band has put out. So it's taken a second to bring people to the table, but I think everybody's there now, and I think people are I'm still learning to talk about, this whole thing. It's
Yeah.
all very fresh.
Yeah.
Record came out 10
Yeah.
hours ago,
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
it's all very new.
Yeah.
Me, so yeah, but I do think that we haven't had like an exceptionally hard time. No, I think that what we're doing is so raw and authentic that like it would be too uh it doesn't seem like you could just dismiss it by the fact that like we put a full record out. It's not just like in her off time, because there was actors strikes that you
Yeah.
decided to record a song or two, you know. So yeah.
And you guys are going the independent route at the moment. Do you have any thought to touring, to playing some of this stuff live? Being an independent band, it's not as easy when you don't have that machine behind you.
Yeah. We've played a couple of shows so far.
Mhm.
Um, Look, I love to play live, and I also hate it, like the stress of it. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I love my bed. I love my kids. I love my family. And I'm sure all my bandmates feel the same way. But I mean, if those opportunities present themselves to like play one-off shows,
Yeah.
do something
Festival kinds of
smaller.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, we missed the window on the
Mhm.
festival circuit this year, but like, yeah, I want to get on some of
Yeah.
that. There's been a lot of invitations to play one-off shows, like whether it's in Turkey or Athens or Australia, Scotland, Ukraine, Um, it's hard to, we don't have a booking agent. It's
Yeah.
not like, it's hard to just like say, yeah, sure, we'll fly over just for one show.
Yeah.
It's not doable.
Yeah.
So to answer the question, it's just there's nothing quite like playing your music for an
Mhm.
audience and them loving it, right? And also it's fun to like convert people too. Like I've played in front of other bands, and other audiences of other bands where you have to like earn their respect and like, I mean, that's kind of a young man's game too, but it's a fun challenge.
Yeah.
So, but we have a lot of fans who are kind of scattered all over the world. It
Mhm.
would be great to figure out how to do it. Right
Yeah.
now, the best way for us to do it is to make visual content with videos and so on and so forth. We have a few other things planned. That's the easiest way for us to share the project with everybody,
Mhm.
but yeah, hopefully soon.
Definitely look forward to it. Well, we've been spending some time here with Renn Hawkey. The band is the Yagas. The record is called Midnight Minuet. It is out everywhere now. I love it. It's just a powerful record. It's one I think where once you start it, you need to sit and listen to the whole thing. I don't find myself picking songs out of it. I go top to bottom every time, which is a great
Love that.
thing.
I love to hear
So,
that.
thanks so much for taking the time and best of luck with the record.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
All right.